2022 S-Works Stumpjumper Evo we have here in a size S3, weighing at 30 pounds, 13 ounces. And in kilos, we're right at 13.9697 kilos. Stay tuned after video. We'll hear a free buy send test on that Revol rear wheel right there. And yeah, thank you guys. God. Thank you. That's what I deal with on a daily basis, guys. Just let them pass. Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video. Today I have for you guys this 2022 Specialized S-Works Stumpjumper Evo. This is in size S3, and as you guys can see, it just weighed in right around 31 pounds. Retail on this bike is $11,000, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what you get for this bike. It only comes in one color this year. It is a kind of like a matte raw carbon, and then it stops and goes into a clean flat carbon. So you can see the separation right there. But this is the only color they kind of come in this year for this S-Works. But I'm going to go over all the components on it, show you what you get for $11,000, and let you know if I think it's a good deal. So starting off with the top, right here we have the Specialized Revol SL handlebar. It's a 35mm clamp. We have the little Revol logo right here. Oh, sorry. Right there. Nice little bar that they added. This is the first year I think they added with the 35mm clamp size, adapting to what the market wants. They want a little bit of a thicker diameter for a bar, especially for these all-mountain and enduro bikes. So that's a nice little plus. You also do get the DD stem as well. This is a 35mm clamp, and then the added SWAT tool right here. So we have this little stem cap. We go ahead and pop this thing open right here. We have a little multi-tool for everything we need. 4, 5, 6, everything we want. Looks very clean. Obviously, S-Works are going to try and make it as clean as possible. Going to the brakes, we have on here is SRAM code RSC brakes. We have our pad contact adjustment right here, and then our lever reach adjustment as well. The grips on here are going to be the DD knuckle busters. They are a lock-on grip as well. Put it right here, and then for the shifters, they are the SRAM XX1 axis shifter with the upgraded paddle shift on here already. Nice little touch. You're starting to see these companies do that more and more. It's just more natural, more ergonomic. I like it a lot. Going to the other side, same brake for the front, and then we have our SRAM axis wireless dropper post right here. This is our lever we press. It is fully wireless. It's a nice reverb dropper post. We press right here, goes down, then we press again, pops back up. Very easy. And also, one thing people don't understand is that it actually utilizes an extra battery. So if you ever run out of juice for your rear derailleur, you have the battery right there. Going to the fork, we have on here a Fox Factory 36 Kashima coated front fork. It's 160mm of travel for the Evo, 160 in the front, 150 in the rear. And definitely for these new bikes, you see that they have all the decals on here already set for as well. This is with the Grip 2, I believe, dampener. So we have our low speed compression adjustment here, our high speed compression adjustment right here as well. Tons of adjustments we can do on this bike. Set it for whatever kind of trail you want for tuning. And on this side, we have our little knob for where we put the air into. So this is where you adjust the air PSI. Nice gold Kashima coated coating right there. And the whole idea behind the Kashima coated, people usually ask me what's the difference between the gold and the black coating. They say with the Kashima coating, when coming out turns and berms and stuff like that, when your shocks are engaged and they're midway, it reduces shock stick. So what that means is when you're coming out of there, you're not going to feel the shock stick. It's going to engage how it's supposed to be. Very smooth, nice actuation, very nice stuff. 36mm stanchions for the Evo, and then also with this bike you do get the fender included by Fox as well, so that's a nice little plus. You spend 11 grand, you get a nice little fender. That's a nice thing. We have here, it's a 29, also 27.5 plus fork as well. This is a through axle bike. It's a 15x110 boost spacing for the front hubs. We have our Fox through axle right here, and we have our 6mm pinch bolt right here as well to make sure this doesn't fly out on you while riding. The wheels on here are the Revol Traverse SL carbon wheels. They're Revol Traverse SL hoops, and then they have their Revol branded hubs on here, which I think are just a rebranded DT240, but it looks clean, gloss black, and then they have DT competition spokes on here as well. Nice solid built wheel. I believe the dimensions are 30mm internal width. They are hookless and they are tubeless ready. The wheels are tubeless ready and the tires are tubeless ready. Right now there are tubes inside here, but you can add the tubeless valves. They're included in the bike as well if you want. And then the tire size on here is the Specialized Butcher with their T9 grid compound, and it is a 29x2.3 tire. Tubeless ready. You can get it going wherever you want, but the Butcher is a nice tire. A lot of aggressive bite marks to it. It definitely has some nice stick to the bike. Definitely a nice feel. Rotor size on here are 200mm in the front and rear. Sorry, phone call. 200 millimeter front and rear, 6 bolts still on the disc brakes for the mountain bike. And then on this side, we have here the code disc brake for the flat mount. Again, it's a 200 millimeter rotor size. So keep that in mind. We have a nice little S-Works logo right here down the down tube. That's really what you're paying for on this bike, the S-Works logo. Because of the fact that for the S-Works, the Pro, and the Comp level carbons, they're all the same carbon level. And you heard me right, I'll say that again. This is Fact Carbon 11M. I've also done previous videos for the Comp model of this bike, 2022, and also the Pro model. They're all 11M carbon. So there's no difference between these bikes in terms of carbon layout. Really what you're paying for in differences are just wheels and components. And I'll even tell you this as well. Compared to the Pro to the S-Works, the Pro has the exact same suspension and the frame and almost drivetrain to the S-Works. So it's a $2,400 difference. So keep that in mind when buying it. Going down, we do have here on the headset, we can see this, I'll talk about the flip chip on here. You have, I believe it is 2 degrees of adjustment for the front headset for rake. You can actually change the degrees of rake on this fork to make it a little bit more elongated, more raked out, more long for the bike for more stability. And also there's a flip chip on the back as well. You can see it says high and low right there. It's in the high position, but if you change it to the low, you can actually lower this bike by 10 millimeters, the bottom bracket height, to make it a little bit more planted and set for maybe more all-mountain bike riding. Very cool stuff. You can do them together, you can do them independently, you can change it however you want. A lot of functionality on this bike, a lot of cool little gizmos and gadgets on the bike that I think are really cool. But yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with this bike, so I like how Specialized gives you options. Crank on here is going to be the SRAM XO1 carbon crank. You get a 30-tooth chainring in the front, and then you get an MRP chain guide for the top, and also a bash guard on the bottom, just in case you do some serious downhilling on here. They also increased the volume size for the SWAT storage right here. We go and open this up. We have a bottle cage. Open this up. Open that up, and then we can see in here the raw carbon layout. Definitely some cool looking design here. They also include a 22-ounce bladder that you can actually shove inside here and fill up with water with a little kind of spout in here, because of the fact that you only have a 1 water bottle cage option on this bike. So if you did need some extra hydration if you're going on a long ride, you can shove a bladder inside of here, and that way you have extra hydration for the ride. Another cool thing about this bike, I know it doesn't really matter to you consumers, but it's actually very easy to run cables on here. The cables are guided all the way down the frame through here, and they're ran with plastic hoses, so you literally don't have to do any fishing on this bike. And they pop out right here. You can see there's a little cover right there, but they pop out right there. They have little plastic covers, and they literally pop out right there to a point that's super easy to run. So I can shove a brake hose into here, and it'll pop out there with no fishing at all, which makes a mechanic's job way easier. So if you do take this to a bike shop and you give it to a mechanic to change brakes on, he will love you for it. It's very simple for him. Also with the redone of the 2022 lineup, I think it was for 2021 as well, they lowered the swing arm right here. They made the asymmetric design to make it a little bit more stiffer laterally. Going to the rear shock, this is the Fox Float Fox Float factory Kashima coated rear shock. It's 150 millimeters of travel. We have our firm adjustment right here. We have our low speed compression right here. We have our rebound on the other side to adjust rebound how fast it returns, and also there's an air adjustment as well over here. So many gizmos and gadgets on this thing that you can go ahead and play around and mess up your settings as much as you want. And the one thing S-Works does that makes people buy this bike, it's not the carbon layup, it's this carbon yoke. It's this it's not proprietary. This is only exclusive on S-Works bikes. Only people with S-Works can have this. I think that is the coolest little thing ever. I know it's probably not worth $2,400, but it is the coolest looking thing ever. I wish you can get it on more bikes. I wish they sold it aftermarket. I just like anything that's carbon. So very cool on the linkage right there. Nice little nod to S-Works owners. At least they get something. Chain on here is the XX1 Rainbow Chameleon chain. The cassette in the back is the XX1 Rainbow Chameleon cassette. 10 gear on the bottom, 52 tooth on top. We have our XX1 Eagle Axis rear derailleur, 12 speed. We have our little battery cover. We have our battery in the back as well. And like I said, you can change this battery from here to here. So if you ever run out of juice while riding, you can always change the battery and you'll be good to go. Anyway, so we have a bash guard down here to protect from rocks and frames and stuff like that. And then going to the rear wheel, it's the same Revolve Traverse SL carbon wheel like I showed before, 30 millimeter internal width, hookless rims as well. And then we have on the back tire, it's the Eliminator 29 by 2.3, a little bit less tread in the rear. You can see you don't want as much knobbies on your riding tire. You don't want drag on here. You want a tire that's more bite in the front and less bite in the back. The hub is a Revolve Traverse hub as well, and it has a 54 tooth ratchet on here as well for engagement. So you can hear much more engagement than the Pro predecessor that has 36 teeth of engagement. And then the rotor on the rear is a 200 millimeter rotor with a 6-bolt configuration. And you have a SRAM Code RC flat mount disc. Then we have here the through axle for a boost setting, 12 millimeters by 148. And then the bottom bracket is going to be the SRAM dub bottom bracket, 73 millimeters. It is threaded, so that's a nice little plus. And then going to the saddle, we have on here the RockShox Reverb Axis dropper post. And then saddle is going to be the Specialized bridge saddle. No carbon rails, as you guys can see, titanium rails, for the fact that they want to make it more of an efficient ride and not crack these saddle stays in there. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Stay tuned to after video. We'll hear a free body sound test on this rear hub. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next one. All right, guys, here comes a free body sound test. Revol Traverse SL 29 rims, Revol hub with steel cartridge bearings in there, pretty much a rebranded DT 240 hub, 54 tooth ratchet engagement. Here we go. Sounds good.